Ravens and members of the Franklin Pierce University Committee. I am Pierre Morton, and I have the great privilege of serving as the Chief Diversity Officer here at the university. It is also my privilege to welcome each of you tonight, and I am especially grateful to welcome the award recipients as we honor them for their work in justice, their work in equity, and their work in inclusion. Tonight is a night of celebration and a time for us to reflect on the injustices that and the harm that plague our communities, our nation, and our world. It is nights like tonight that serve as a reminder of the responsibility that we all hold for this work. It is also a reminder that no matter how small the action of justice may seem, it joins together with all acts of justice to, quite simply, transform the world. So let us lean into that good work tonight to energize us for the work that still awaits us tomorrow and the days ahead. It is my honor to welcome the president of the university, President Kim Mooney.
Thanks, Pierre. Hello, everyone. And I welcome you as well. It's a pleasure to gather with you tonight to honor the students who are being recognized. And it's always a pleasure to meet under these circumstances for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Awards. It's a special honor for me to welcome Franklin Pierce alumna, Phoebe Robinson, class of 2005, and founder of A.L.A.N.A. Phoebe is our keynote speaker tonight, and I'm really looking forward to her message. Welcome Pierre Morton as our inaugural Chief Diversity Officer. Creating this position is just one step forward in fulfilling our vision for the future, in which the university further deepens its commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice. Establishing the DEI Council last year and now establishing the Office for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion builds off of the early work led by Phoebe and moves us closer to that better future. But it calls on all of us to be a collective force in this work of justice, equity, and inclusion. I'm always grateful when Derek Scalia invites me not only to attend tonight's ceremony, but to welcome you, all of you, faculty, staff, students, alumni, friends, family, guests, especially our honorees, the students that we are recognizing tonight. This ceremony always evokes for me a sense of reverence. While I learn more about who our students are, what they stand up for, and their authentic commitment to the hard truths that they insist on when they insist on inclusion and when they insist on social justice for them and for everyone. The students we recognize tonight have engaged in the good work of inclusion and justice at Franklin Pierce University and in their hometowns. They've advocated for the important values and challenges and issues around mental health, around racial justice, around LGBTQAI+ inclusion, and around gender equity and more, I am sure. And I thank them for improving on every level, our communities and theirs. My hope is that in the years to come, when these students leave Franklin Pierce University, their leadership will continue beyond this campus, and that they will draw more and more people into their spheres of inclusion and social justice. We need all of you and all of them. And so congratulations, honorees, you deserve this recognition, and I'm just really happy to be here with you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, President Mooney. Recently, the award ceremony has been inviting a community member to share a personal reflection on the importance of the work of justice and commitment to community. This year, we invite Phoebe Robinson Higgins, class of 2005. Phoebe is a proud alumna of Franklin Pierce University. Many of you may know her. She's the founder of the A.L.A.N.A, African American, Latinx, Native American, Asian American program, a diversity initiative that began in 2007, and it focuses on underrepresented students who attend Franklin Pierce University. And as a first-generation African-American college student, Phoebe realized that she was quite unprepared to tackle the college world without additional guidance and without additional support. So it was with this knowledge that Phoebe became determined to change the landscape of how future underrepresented minority students would navigate their way through Franklin Pierce University. And many years later, Phoebe found herself drawn back to Pierce to once again help do the good work that is needed for students on an A.L.A.N.A alumni affinity group. So Phoebe is also a business owner and currently lives in New Hampshire. So please join me as we welcome Phoebe Robinson Higgins as our keynote speaker. Phoebe.
Sorry about that. I forgot to unmute myself. Thank you so much, Pierre, and thank you so much, President Mooney, for a beautiful welcome. I'm so honored to be here with all of you this evening and to join you on such a special occasion. You'll have to excuse me, this is my first time being a keynote speaker and my first time doing it on Zoom. So I am going to be reading a little bit of my notes, but I do want to share a lot of my personal story with you as well. So I realized that you may not have heard of my name or who I am, and after 4 years of being in the A.L.A.N.A program. So I want to just take some time and kind of roll you back, because I was just a few years older than you when I began to create the A.L.A.N.A program and the foundation for what it would look like. And who would have thought many years later that we would all be here today? So my name is Phoebe Robinson Higgins. As mentioned, I'm a proud alumna of Franklin Pierce, class of 2005. I am the founder of the A.L.A.N.A program and creator of the vision of the DEI and Multicultural Office. I am a first-generation African-American college student. I realized that I did have a specific set of challenges when I came to Franklin Pierce that I wasn't prepared to deal with. And the way I dealt with that was through reaching out and building my own community within Pierce, really relying on people who could help me navigate these areas where my parents just didn't know how to help me. Because like I said, this was all of our first times going through and doing this. So I sought out the guidance of my community. They were a part of faculty, staff, and just community members. Upon graduation, I faced the same choices that you have all considered. What's next? I will never forget this moment where I'm in Dr. Emily Kohler's office, and she asked me that question, what's next for you, Phoebe? And what would you have changed about your Pierce experience? And I started running through the things that, the challenges that I had. I needed a community beyond what I had built. I needed there to be something structural in place. And she said, how can you be a part of that change? And these are big questions to ask a senior with just a couple of weeks left of their time at Pierce. So I sat back and I said, how can I be a part of it? Well, I can donate my time. I can do this. I said, there's going to have to be someone they're going to step up and they're going to create this. And she said, but you already have the vision for it. If not you, then who? You have an opportunity, if you have vision, to step up and to be that person. And I thought because I was so young that no one would take me seriously. Well, I guess I was pretty wrong, because that's what I did. I decided to stay at Pierce. I was offered a position in the admissions office, and that was my first mission of business, was to create the A.L.A.N.A program. I worked tirelessly night and day on this program, oftentimes with my peers who had graduated, and also with current students, and asking them who I had just been peers with, asking them some of the things that they wanted to see as well. And that's where we began thinking about a summer pre-orientation program. We began thinking about how we can build a board that supports the A.L.A.N.A program that then supports the students. So that's where a lot of that work came from. It was long nights in the admissions office, chatting with students and faculty and staff members. I realized at that point that change doesn't occur overnight. Change starts with a small grain of sand, and it begins to build into a mountain until you can't ignore it. I was very, very fortunate because I had built such a community within the Franklin Pierce world. I was able to get into the president's calendar. Now, I can tell you that is, and President Mooney, you will say, this is almost impossible because you're very busy. But I had a friend, I had an ally, and she said, if I put you in on this calendar, well, we have to honor it, even if it's 20 minutes. And that's where I had my opportunity to pitch the A.L.A.N.A program to the president of the university and to other members within their cabinet. So it was wonderful because it was the first time that they were able to hear that having a multicultural program for students was something that wasn't just important, it was necessary. I saw the work that needed to be done then for all of you now. So that was, and that was amazing. It was about 25 minutes. I think I left there and I must have cried all the way back to the admissions office, which isn't a very long walk, but I still cried. Today I stand before you looking at a new Pierce, a Pierce that I couldn't have imagined a chief diversity officer. I couldn't have imagined Pierre's position. I knew that it existed, but I couldn't quite see how we would get there. I'm so proud of Franklin Pierce. I'm so proud of all of you and the Pierce community that we've been able to move mountains, because truly I was a part of the grain of sand and all of you are now a part of the biggest mountain that I can ever see. So when I was asked to come back and to do the hard work again, I was all up for it. I was game. I said, yes, I want to be there. I want to be a part of continuing to move that mountain so that it's so big that we have to keep doing the work. In the next couple of weeks, in the next couple of months, you are going to leave the Pierce community, a community that has loved you so much over the past 4 years. And you're going to go into your own spaces and into your own fields. One of the things that I learned after I left higher education was the work doesn't end there. The work continues. So even though I'm no longer a part of the higher education community, I continue to amplify my voice as a board of trustee member on a national council called the Wedding and Event Industry Alliance. It helps to amplify BIPOC voices as well as LGBTQIA in a predominantly white industry, which is the wedding industry. So it ensures that we're all a part of that grain of sand, making that mountain, saying how important diversity and inclusion in that work is. When you find yourself in these spaces, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to remember something that my mom had to remind me of. She said, it's not good enough for just you to make it, Phoebe. All of us have to make it. So I'm going to ask that you hold the door open. And by holding the door open, I mean that you are accountable to the successes of your peers just as your own. So I mentioned earlier in my chat with you that I'm a first generation college student. Well, I'm actually not first generation at all anymore, because what I did is I held the door open for my mother and my father. I wanted them to have the education that they had paid for me to have. So I reached back, and instead of paying off the rest of my loans as quickly as I could, I put my parents through college because I wanted us all to make it, because that's the legacy and that's truly the success. And now at 40, thank God I've paid off these student loans. Thank goodness. But that's what I mean when I say hold the door open. We are going to ask you in the next couple of months, maybe the next couple of years, maybe when I'm 50, I'm going to give you a call and I'm going to ask you to donate your time, maybe a financial donation of some sort. And I want you to remember this conversation about holding the door open and about how it's not just good enough if you've made it. We all have to make it. So I leave you with that. And I hope that my words resonate with you today and tonight and tomorrow. I hope you are reminded that you are not too young or too small to make a mountain. You are exactly where you need to be. I want to thank all of you so much for having me tonight. And I want to apologize for those little teary moments. I am 35 weeks pregnant, so I guess it's okay if I have a few teary moments. Thank you so much, Franklin Pierce, for inviting me back. Thank you so much for continuing to make this home. New Hampshire has been my home since I was 18, and it will continue to be my home for my husband and my children to come in the future. So Pierce is not quite done with me yet. You are going to see me on that campus. And should you ever need anything, I want to promise you that I'll be holding the door open for you as well. So hopefully, Derek, we have a way to get my contact information out. Even if I'm not the right person for you, I'll find someone who is. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'm so proud of all the work that you've done. And I'm excited to see the rest of this evening unfold. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phoebe, for your remarks, and most of all for your vision that has been so important in our work. Thank you. I would now like to invite representatives from the DEI Council to share reflections on the importance of this work, which is the work of justice. These reflections are comprised of their own experiences and the experiences of those that have come before us. So please welcome Karina Dillon, Kobe Gibbons, Himani Moore, and Andrew Wynn as they center us to the call for justice.
Thank you, Pierre. So first of all, I'd like to thank Phoebe for her wonderful words. They really struck in the heart and it was wonderful. I'd like to open with a quote. The greatest challenge of the day is how to bring about a revolution of the heart, a revolution which starts with each one of us. Dorothy Day. It starts with you, your drive, in the recognition of the world's need for revolutionary change. It starts with the acceptance that justice, equity, and inclusion do not happen from waking up and expecting that the world is going to change itself. We do not accomplish revolutionary change and justice from being ordinary and following the status quo. Rather, it's the need to be extraordinary that brings about the justice that we seek. Justice does not come from following the norm, but from breaking away from all those who question you and forging your own path. It feels lonely and scary at first. You're leaving all sense of normalcy and security. And then you find a mentor, someone or something to be your guide in some form, and everything starts to click. Once you find your way, the feeling of freedom and empowerment is overwhelming. You find your heart full, knowing that you're doing the work you were called to do, and hungry for more at the same time. Because as people seeking equity, inclusion, and justice, you know as well as I do that our work never stops. There's a fire inside each and every one of us to love and to bring peace and justice to others. It may be a small spark or a flame, but when nurtured, it grows and becomes an uncontainable wildfire, breaking down the forests of hatred and injustice and leaving blooming seedlings of change and hope in its wake. Find that fire deep in your heart to show compassion and love for others. For as Dorothy Day says, if we love enough, we are going to light that fire in the hearts of others. It is love that will make us want to do great things for each other. No sacrifice and suffering will then seem too much.
Hello guys, I'm Kobe, as you may know. And I'm just doing a reflection about my time here in FPU. And for me, being a leader and being like president of A.L.A.N.A, senator of class of 21, let me just say that when me taking those roles weren't easy. And I was dealing with a lot of personal issues, as you may know, some of you, I almost lost my life like the summer prior. Almost lost my life on campus. Stuff like family mishaps and family miscommunication. A lot of contributions that happened that kind of like hindered my time here, that but affected my time here, I should say. But when I just say like the amount of support from the school has been a blessing. And literally for like this whole school year, the school was my life, to be honest with you, helping out the students here, bringing the word out, mending the tensions between groups and stuff like that, racial tensions and racial feelings. A.L.A.N.A and class of 2021 has really, put me to the position of help out a lot of people on campus. And I just love and cherish the opportunity I have and the trust that you guys and the FPU given me. And I just want to say thank you guys. And it wasn't, it wasn't, I'm taking this an honor. I'm sorry. I'm stuttering. I'm just happy that I'm winning this award.
Thank you for sharing that, Kobe. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Nguyen. For those who don't know me, I'm a second-year physician assistant student at the A.L.A.N.A campus. And like Pierre said, I also serve on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council. So I had the honor of giving a reading from a notable icon of justice, and the person I chose was Thurgood Marshall. And for those who don't know Thurgood Marshall, he was the first African-American member to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. And before he held that position, he was a lawyer and a passionate civil rights activist. So this reading is from his speech that when he received the Liberty Medal on July 4th, 1992 for his leadership in the pursuit of freedom. On that day, he said, "We cannot play ostrich. Democracy just cannot flourish amid fear. Liberty cannot bloom amid hate. Justice cannot take root amid rage. America must get to work. In the chill climate in which we live, we must go against the prevailing wind. We must dissent from the indifference. We must dissent from the apathy. We must dissent from the fear, the hatred, and the mistrust. We must dissent from a nation that has buried its head in the sand, waiting in vain for the needs of its poor, its elderly, and its sick to disappear and just blow away. We must dissent from a government that has left its young without jobs, education, or hope. We must dissent from the poverty of vision in the absence of moral leadership. We must dissent because America can do better, because America has no choice but to do better." So Thurgood Marshall wanted to remind everybody from that speech that the fight for justice and equity is an ongoing battle, kind of like what Phoebe was saying. And that's why I just want to thank all the award recipients for fighting that good fight. This night is dedicated to you all for your service and your efforts. It's reassuring to know that the future is in good hands. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for giving me some of your time tonight.
Thank you so much, Karina, Kobe, Andrew. Awesome. Thank you so much. We just heard the president talk about the work ahead of us. We just heard Phoebe talk about there's still much work to be done and to hold the door open. And the three of you bear witness to what happens when we can leave the door open and continue this work. So thank the three of you. Thank you so much. We continue to be grateful for the work that all of the award recipients are doing to build a more just and equitable world here on campus and back at home. Award recipients will be honored tonight by the DEI Council members. Each award recipient will receive 2 books that they can collect tomorrow and the week after by visiting the 2nd floor of the Manor and stopping by my office to be presented with the books. And we'll say that these 2 books were selected by the council and they highlight the role and the importance of activism. So the books are Hope in the Dark, Untold Stories, Wild Possibilities by Rebecca Solnit, and Roadmap for Revolutionaries, Resistance, Activism, and Advocacy for All by Paige, Jaron, and Wilson.
Sorry, there. I am presenting an award to Morgan Baxendale. Our first award recipient, Morgan, is a psychology major, and she's been working to create an inclusive community by supporting student athletes addressing mental health. Part of her work is to eliminate the stigma associated with mental health needs and supports. Morgan seeks to create a norm where all students know that it is okay not to be okay and that things will get better. We're grateful for the work that Morgan has been doing and her commitment to addressing mental health supports and needs. It is our distinct honor to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to Morgan Baxendale.
Good evening. This award is for Jasmine Beck. Jasmine Beck is a health science major and is a member of the women's hockey team. Here leading SAAC and JAA. Jasmine has been working in various roles to help students to navigate supports, specifically assisting diverse students. She has also been involved in community discussions as she shared her experience as an Asian American student. Through her leadership, Jasmine has been committed to continuing the work to confront discrimination as she seeks ways to create an inclusive community. It is our distinct honor to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to Jasmine Beck.
I will be presenting to Sydney Fringer. So Sydney is a health science major and is a member of the Students of Faith. As part of her involvement within this organization, she seeks to sustain a conversation on religious awareness while simultaneously creating a space for students to openly practice their faith. Sydney also seeks to create an environment where students can learn about faith and religions in a time where fewer and fewer people identify as people of faith. Sydney seeks to destigmatize the mystery of faith. It is our distinct honor to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to Sydney Fringer.
Kobe Givens. Kobe Givens. He's a business management major, and he's the president of A.L.A.N.A. We all know that Kobe is passionate, and he has a pretty powerful voice for justice throughout his entire time here. Through Kobe's involvement with A.L.A.N.A, Kobe has worked with his peers to promote the values and importance of multiculturalism. Kobe has been a pivotal leader in addressing gun violence, fairness in education, and he supports initiatives to expand diversification at the university. Thank you, Kobe. All of the work that he has done is part of Kobe's commitment to creating a harmonious environment here on campus. So it is our distinct honor to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to you, Kobe. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This award is for Bailey Madison. Bailey Madison is a communications major, a member of our peer leader program, and serves as the parliamentarian for the Student Government Association. Bailey has been a consistent leader seeking to support LGBTQIA+ students and was an organizer of the Walk for Trans Rights. Through their work, they have supported and been connected to Outright Vermont that supports LGBTQIA+ with vital resources. Bailey writes that it ought to be the goal of all people to ensure all individuals feel safe and validated. We are grateful for Bailey's work and the commitment to social justice and inclusion for LGBTQIA+ students. It is our distinct honor to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to Bailey Madison.
I'm awarding Alexis Messina. Alexis is a political science major and president of Sistas. Through her work, she works with various partners to raise awareness about sexual assault and domestic and dating violence. Alexis has also been a consistent voice for women's rights and gender inclusivity. Along with this vital work, Alexis also has been involved in Hope Happens Here as they seek to end the stigma of mental health needs and supports. Alexis is committed to confronting injustices as she works for a more just and equitable campus. It is our distinct honor to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to Alexis Messina.
Samantha Norwood, there she is. Sammy is a biology and environmental science major and president of Hope Happens Here. She also serves as the director of this year's Vagina Monologues production. As director, Sammy worked to create a more inclusive representation by including Indigenous and intersex voices, as well as a narrative from a survivor of rape. Along with her work for gender inclusion, Sammy has also worked to address the stigma associated with mental health needs and supports. We are so grateful for Sammy's work for gender inclusion and mental supports. It is our distinct honor to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to Sammy Norwood.
Am I unmuted? No. Yes, okay, good. Juliet Wosu. Juliet Wosu is a health science major and a member of A.L.A.N.A. Juliet has been a pivotal activist in the Black Lives Matter movement as she confronts racial injustices and police brutality, supports Black-owned businesses, and organizes petitions to create a more just and equitable society. Juliet also serves as a mentor to peers in her community as they participate in ACT SO, the NAACP's Afro-Academic, Cultural, Technological, and Scientific Olympics. Juliet writes, "My dream is to make an impact in this world. And with these small little steps, I am just inching life to a better place." It is our distinct honor to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to Juliet Wosu.
Hi, Lauren. I am presenting for Lauren Privel. Lauren is a health science major and serves as a community assistant. As part of her work as a community assistant, she seeks to create an environment where all are safe and people are able to be their authentic selves. Although COVID has impacted traditional programming, Lauren has worked to engage in the foundational roots of community organizing by developing individual relationships and seeking ways to bring people together. When speaking of her goals and the work she does, Lauren writes, "My hope is that I can influence others to feel safe, included, and heard in whatever outlet of campus or life they are coming from." It is our distinct honor to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to Lauren Privel.
Morgan Smith. Morgan is a political science major who's active with the Justice in Action Athletic Alliance as a researcher, as a treasurer, and co-host of their podcast. JAW's goal is to promote diversity, inclusion, and social justice on campus, as well as to empower individuals who seek lasting change to systemic injustice. As a member of the Justice in Action Athletic Alliance, Morgan is also working towards making the state of New Hampshire much more inclusive. So together, their group is working with the Governor's Council to critique and help establish better policing methods. These methods are being adjusted to make our community a safer place and to ensure that those in power do not abuse their power. It is for this service and much more that it is our distinct honor to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to you, Morgan Smith. Thank you.
This award is for Jordan Spires. Jordan Spires is a health science major and a peer counselor for Black, Indigenous people of color and LGBTQIA+ youth and teenagers. Jordan writes, working with youth who are struggling to learn about the history of a group they identify with expands cultural awareness and engages in social justice and indirectly promotes a more inclusive activity by helping them unlearn internalized homophobia and internalized racism and learn coping skills to avoid dangerous ones like self-harm and suicide due to their sense of isolation or otherness. Along with this work, Jordan is involved in organizing protests in their hometown on environmental, economic, medical, racial, and gender and sexuality-based discrimination in their community. We are honored to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to Jordan Spires.
This award is for A.L.A.N.A. Lonnie Thompson. Lonnie Thompson is a biology major and the captain and founder of the Franklin Pierce Step Team, more commonly known as the Diamond Steppers. Lonnie writes, the purpose of this organization is to educate others on Black culture through our performance style. Our goal is to bring the community closer while educating, providing entertainment, and having fun. We're also a very inclusive environment by maintaining a tight-knit, multicultural, and diverse team. We've had members from many racial and ethnic backgrounds, different religions, sexual orientations, and gender identities. Along with her strong leadership skills, Lonnie is also serving as an advisor of A.L.A.N.A. for the coming academic year. It is our distinct honor to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to Lonnie Thompson.
So I'm giving an award to Addison Wright. Addie is a criminal justice major and member of JAW. Off campus, Addie is connected to Growing Places Indy that works to cultivate wellness in the community through urban agriculture, food access and awareness, and practices for healthy, sustainable living. This organization is committed to connecting injustices to being able to receive affordable and clean food. Recently, Addison was given the opportunity to work with the New Hampshire Youth Movement, which focuses on the intersectionality of the legal system and environmental injustices. This program allows her to work with an inclusive community by helping younger adults learn how to testify effectively in court on issues of injustice. Alongside these vital programs, Addie has been an active member of JAW as they seek to confront oppressive systems and commit to a just and equitable society. It is our very distinct honor to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to Addie Wright.
Katrina Wilson. Katrina Wilson is health science major and a member of SISTAs and a consent ambassador. As a member of SISTAs, the club focuses a lot on events, especially Mr. FPU, on sexual assault and domestic violence awareness and prevention. This club has been close to her heart because of its inclusive nature and the opportunity that it provides to raise awareness and to make change regarding important social issues. Katrina is also a consent ambassador at FPU, and prior to COVID, planned to travel around to various teams and classes on campus to inform her classmates on the meaning and importance of consent. Mm-hmm. The awareness and prevention of sexual assault has been an especially large area of engagement in social justice for her for a very long time. Katrina, we are grateful for your work in confronting sexual assault culture and as an advocate for gender equity. Thank you. And for these reasons, we are honored to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award to you, Katrina Wilson. So, first of all, congratulations to all the award recipients and for the work that you continue to do. We will now welcome our distinguished honors recipients. And so these students have demonstrated outstanding service and commitment to justice and to equity and to inclusion. As distinguished honors award recipients, they will be presented 2 books and a $250 gift certificate to assist with books and other academic supports. So we also invite, as each of these students, to share with us tonight a bit of a reflection on the importance of their work and the work that they do.
This award is for Karina Dillon. Karina Dillon is a health science major and president and founder of the Students of Faith organization and is a representative on the DEI Council. Through her work with Students of Faith, Karina writes, "As president of this organization, I have worked with incoming students and staff to create a safe space for all to come and share their beliefs. We have worked to create prayer services, worship nights, games, opportunities for students to attend virtual services, and community service opportunities that allow students to practice their faith how they feel most comfortable. Recently, Karina helped lead the effort to support a local nonprofit that offers supports and resources to survivors of sex trafficking. Karina is a consistent and powerful voice to honor the authentic self of each student. Through her advocacy, she has helped establish consistent supports for students to practice their faith and learn from the experiences of others. It is to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award with distinguished honors to Karina Dillon. At this time, I invite Karina to share with us a few words on the importance of her work.
Thank you so much, Zan. And congratulations to all of the recipients tonight. You guys have done great work, and it's so wonderful to hear about all of the efforts that are happening on campus. You guys are what make the world great. So, why are you here? That was the question I was asked 2 weeks into my Franklin Pierce experience. I had been upset about the lack of supports for students who practice faith. And one of my friends at the time responded, "Why are you here?" That question, which originally sparked a feeling of shame and embarrassment, has since become the fire for my passion for equity, inclusion, and justice. This work is not accomplished without support and a little push outside your comfort zone. My first project, the Catholic Mass Transportation Program my sophomore year, started because I went up to Derek on the first week of my sophomore year after maybe having 3 conversations with him, and I asked how I could find a ride to Mass as I didn't have a car. He responded, "Why don't you just get a group together to go to Mass?" I mean, I was just looking for a ride, finding some way to do it, but sure, Derek, why not? I'll start that for me. The following May, I approached Derek again after a successful year with the program, requesting that there be a faith ambassador for students. Derek said, "I have an even better idea. Let's make this a club." And thus, Students of Faith was born and has been a safe haven for many to gather for 2 years. I look back on those conversations as pivotal moments of my life, times where I was looking to light a candle and make a little bit of a difference, and instead was given the opportunity and the confidence to start a bonfire, lighting the way for more students than I could ever have dreamed possible. I am so blessed to have received such guidance and faith in me from the many leaders on this campus and in the DEI Council, and to have had the opportunity to witness the revolutionary changes occurring through all areas of equity, inclusion, and justice. There is so much more work to be done, and while I am graduating in 2 short weeks, I look forward to taking my passions to Boston, where I will work towards my Doctor of Physical Therapy, and whatever else the Lord has in store. Thank you so much, Franklin Pierce University, for an incredible, life-changing 4 years. And good luck and congratulations to all recipients and everyone here in all the incredible work that you do. Thank you.
Our next recipient is Florisbeth Joseph. Florisbeth is a biology major, and among what I see are many attributes. She serves as a peer leader trainer. She's a member of JA and the future leader of A.L.A.N.A. Sharing her work of justice off campus, Florisbeth writes, "Outside of school, I participated in protests for social causes I've strongly believed in. I've signed many petitions, have sent letters and emails to those in power for social change, and overall spread more awareness through social media. I've also sat in meetings about changes the school can make to better include our diverse students on campus, and have participated and held forums on topics such as police brutality. As a first-generation college student with immigrant parents, Florisbeth has worked with JA to share her story and has advocated for creating an inclusive and equitable community. She demonstrates this work as a tutor within the Writing Center as she works with international students, helping them navigate the American school system. Speaking of her responsibilities as a peer leader trainer and as a leader of A.L.A.N.A, Florisbeth writes, "It is essential for me to make everyone feel included and comfortable on campus, especially for every incoming student who's nervous about attending a PWI like I was when I was a freshman. We are so grateful, Florisbeth, for the work you have done and the vision of the work that awaits you and the community. It's for these reasons we are honored to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award with distinguished honors to Florisbeth Joseph. Florisbeth, at this time, I invite you to share with us a few words on the importance of your work."
Thank you so much, and also congrats to everyone else receiving an award tonight. You all have truly been leaders to me, and your work is definitely noticed. Melanin, a natural skin pigment that protects us from the UV rays of the sun. Yet for generations before us, these melanocytes were determining factors of the position we held in society and how others depicted us. It is sad to reflect on the society we live in today and see that people of color are disproportionately disadvantaged in almost every system, if not all. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott were 2 strong-minded and intellectual individuals who fought for equity and moved mountains for people of color. As a woman of color, a student, a first-generation American, and a minority, it is instinctive to continue being a moving force for what is right. We must water the seeds that were planted for us and continue to plant more for generations after us. Thank you for acknowledging my efforts and creating a safe environment for me to do these things. Thank you.
This award is for Stephanie Manu. I love that smile. Stephanie Manu is a health science major and serves as the secretary for A.L.A.N.A. Stephanie's activism takes many forms, including traditional in-person advocacy, as well as engaging in social media. Stephanie writes, "I like to use different platforms like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok to spread information. I insert links to different resources and organizations where people can further help and educate themselves on certain issues within society. I expand cultural awareness by sharing my own Ghanaian experiences and traditions with others to broaden their perspectives on Western African culture. Ever since I was in high school, the main goal for our Black Student Union was to provide inclusivity for every student of all backgrounds and races. I promote minority-owned businesses that are on the rise from a wide range of professions."
Maya is here. So we have to say,
Hello?
Maya.
Okay. Such as photography, fashion, music, and art. Being a part of the Black Lives Matter within my own community last summer was a very powerful moment that I will never forget. From donating, posting inspiring pictures, and watching the protests, there was definitely a surge of positivity one could not deny. It is for these reasons that we are honored to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award with distinguished honors to Stephanie Manu. At this time, I invite Stephanie to share with us a few words on the importance of her work, and we get to regale in her beautiful smile.
Oh my goodness. Excuse me. First and foremost, I just want to thank God, and I also want to thank my mom, my dad, family, friends, everybody on the selection committee who like, you know, you guys are presenting me with this award. I'm sorry, I'm just so. I just want to thank everybody for just coming together to honor me with this award, because being a part of something that is even bigger than an award, like it's bigger than this. It's something that it has to do with all of us just as being people, loving one another, helping one another to, you know, strive to be greater than what we are. And just like helping a community that is kind of like an unwritten task that us humans are like born with, you know what I mean? So it's just like with everything that's going on in society today, it's just important that we as individuals, that we just continue to just educate ourselves, you know, spread the word, spread the news, reach out to people of different, you know, ethnic backgrounds, races, like, and just tell them what's going on. Because just like it was in, I believe it's Marvin Gaye's song, "What's Going On in the World?" Like, you know, it's like, what's going on? Like, it's important that we are the ones to step out. And I know I also wrote something about like our youth and like the children, that they will one day step up to be our future leaders, to be the ones to be like, hey, like, this is the stuff that we've seen going on in the past. And, you know, we want to make a difference. We want to be the change that our parents, our families, our siblings, that they continue on to, you know, that, you know, like that they continue to, you know, just be the change and just be the people that we want to see. And just to get this award, like, and as you heard, I think you heard like my mom and my dad logging on the Zoom, like, this is something that's even, you know, big for them. Yeah, they were the ones that were all making the noise. Like, this is something that's even big for them too, to even see like, you know, their second daughter, you know, being able to just get a high achievement like this. And it's crazy because like, I would have never thought that I would be in a position to receive an award like this, and even to like have this opportunity to present it to my parents as well. And I know even my siblings, hi Jacob, hi Jessica, I know you guys are out there listening. Like, I know that they're even out there looking up to me as their older sister. So I also want to be a person that advocates for them as well, to just share with them that, you know, you have a voice, you can also make a difference. This isn't something that it stops with one generation and then, you know what I mean? And then it's over. Like, it's just something that I want it to continue. You know, I want the work to continue, everything, like from promoting, making art, like different ways, like, you know, we express ourselves. I just want to just continue to, you know, flow through. Yes.
This award is for A.L.A.N.A. Masterson. Hi, A.L.A.N.A. A.L.A.N.A. is a communications major and a cabinet member of JA. Through her work with JA, she has helped sustain dialogue on race, sexual assault, and mental health. Recently, she has helped build a partnership with the Governor's Advisory Council to discuss current legislation before the legislature and to advocate for an equitable and just New Hampshire. Speaking of her other work, A.L.A.N.A. writes, outside of this community, I'm also involved in the New Hampshire youth movement that is involved in multiple interests for youth of the state. One of my first introductions was attending a Black Lives Matter protest in Portsmouth. With this group, I was also able to write to state officials in order to combat legislation that would be harmful for youth in the state or what we needed to see. I also wanted to have a direct impact on the Ringe campus through my experiences and seeing a need for change. Currently, I'm in the process of submitting a new course to be added to the Women in Leadership program, as well as having it be open for all. This course is to highlight the experience of minority women. Within the history of feminism and the fight for women's rights, minority women have been and continue to be left out and underrepresented. This course will highlight that today these minority women face an intersectionality of problems. Hopefully, this will be inviting a more inclusive look and education that doesn't only center around the accomplishments of white women. Through this, I hope to bring more cultural awareness to these marginalized groups. It is for these reasons and many more that I am honored to award the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Service Award, and with distinguished honors to A.L.A.N.A. Masterson. At this time, I invite A.L.A.N.A. to share with us a few words about her work.
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for this honor. I was very shocked, even confused when I got the email from Derek. But it's really been an honor and a learning experience for me to be part of all these different movements, because I've learned so much from the stories that people have shared with me, the experience they've shared with me. So I think hopefully through my work, as I educate other people and I hopefully make a change, those people are making a change in me. And I know that through our work, we can continue to make a positive experience, not only for the students on this campus, but the youth of New Hampshire. I've lived here almost my entire life, so I know exactly what it means to be a minority within a predominantly white state. And I think it's extremely important that we highlight the experience of those and that we lift each other up through our stories, through our actions, through our words. And I can't thank the people who have worked beside me, some of those who are honored tonight, such as Addison Wright, Morgan Smith. One of my teammates, Lonnie Thompson, you know, they've really impacted me and I hope I've impacted them. And so many more have just made such a difference in my life, including my mother, who's on the call right now. They've just been so influential, and I really hope that I'm a person that, you know, inspires change in those, and just like they have done for me. So thank you so much.
Congratulations, just congratulations. Everyone just come on, congratulations one more time. I know we can't hear it. This is wonderful. I'm inspired tonight by the students who have come together to celebrate each other and to do this good work. I know I have a script here. I'm bowled over. You inspire us in the work that we do as administrators, as faculty members, as staff members, as groundskeepers, as people who serve you lunch. Thank you, each of you. You know, we heard earlier from the president that was about that you all also continued the thread about how much this work means to you and how much it must continue. You also talked about holding the door open, as Phoebe, our keynote speaker, reminded us to do. And I'm blessed to have have met most of you and worked with most of you and have felt your energy and your drive. And I continue to echo what the president said, what Phoebe said. This work doesn't stop here, y'all. This work is just the beginning. And this experience I want you to take with you as you continue your educational pursuits and beyond. All right, I'll go back on script, Derek. So as we continue to be inspired by your work and and are grateful for your contributions in this good work, as we prepare to say goodbye to our graduating seniors and welcome them back in as alumni, we would like to honor the following seniors for their work for social justice. And each of these seniors will receive a pin. I hope you can see that. Okay. Receive a pin that we invite you to wear as part of your academic regalia. You see, it's our hope that you wear this pin with pride far beyond commencement activities, and that it serves as a reminder of the very important work and the continued call to justice. So please join me as we honor A.L.A.N.A Masterson, Zach Bremeyer, Demi Adkins, Jenna Cibrone, Himani Moore, and Kobe Givens. Students are invited for, yes. Sorry. Okay. Students are invited to collect their pins on the second floor of the Manor tomorrow or next week. And, you know, this ends our award ceremony, but the work continues. I want to say, first of all, thank you to our president, Kim Mooney, who allowed, thank you, Kim, who allowed our Phoebe, who listened to Phoebe in that 20 minutes so that this work continues. So it began, and I want to thank Phoebe Robinson-Higgins for creating the foundation for this work and being encouraged and inspired to do this. Thank you. Thank you, Phoebe. And thank you to the members of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council, because your commitment above and beyond the work that you normally do here at the university, as you can see, makes a difference. So thank you, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council. And thank you to Derek Scalia, who continues this work, oftentimes thankless, who has been doing it. Thank you, Derek. You are appreciated. Lastly, I want to thank all the award recipients. I want to encourage you to be brave, to continue to be courageous, and actually continue to do this difficult work, moving forward the cause of justice. And Derek, I'm queuing you up. So as we close, let's be reminded just why this work is so important with the words of Dr. Martin Luther King himself. Thank you.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around. We aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.